You're listening to Well and Worthy Life, the podcast that helps midlife women feel better, look better, and live better. I'm your host, Deanna, menopause wellness coach turned to lifestyle creator, and I'm here to give you all of my tips, tools, and real talk you need to thrive in this second half of life. I'm so excited about today's guest. Joining me is Suzy Mighell, the voice behind Empty Nest Blessed, a beloved lifestyle brand created for women navigating midlife and the empty nest years. Suzy has an incredible way of helping women see this season not as an ending, but as a fresh beginning. Through her blog, social media, and speaking, she shares uplifting, relatable content around fashion, beauty, marriage, faith, travel, and aging joyfully, always with honesty and heart. She's also the author of Empty Nest Blessed, 60 Days to Finding Joy in the Empty Nest, a beautiful guide for women who may be feeling a mix of emotions and wondering, what's next for me? Her work has been featured in InStyle and on national TV. Today, we're talking about joy, identity, reinvention, and why midlife can be one of the most meaningful chapters yet. Suzy, welcome. I'm so glad you are here with me today. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here, Deanna. You are just someone I've looked up to and loved for so long. We've been friends on Instagram. I wish we were in person. I could give you a big hug. But this is the next best thing. And so I'm so honored you wanted to have me on. And I did, let's be honest, I did pursue you.
Well, and I love that because I think, you know what, I think we are so much alike in the fact that we are about the same age and around the same stage in life. And I think Empty Nest is this whole new chapter, and it's not just one way, and we've talked about that, it evolves so much, but we both have seen women, you know, before I really got into just being a really lifestyle creator, I was coaching women, and one of the things I saw so much as midlife women, when they start going through this empty nest, all of a sudden they kind of feel lost. And so I love that you wrote this book that kind of helps them. You know, for me, empty nesting wasn't that hard because I told you earlier I had a Pure Barre studio, so it was like I still had this baby still. So as my youngest was leaving, my empty nest didn't feel like being empty because I already had something that was really taking up my time. But for a lot of women, I know even if they've been working, it still is very emotional and hard. Let me go back and tell me about your empty nest experience. Like, what happened that you were like, oh, I got to do this?
You know, so about 10 years ago, on my 50th birthday, because I'm 60 now, on my 50th birthday, I took my last child to school, and it was my daughter. So I have two boys who are older, and it was my girl. So, you know, you kind of have that special relationship with your daughter, and that was challenging. I mean, I knew it was coming. I think I started in a way preparing, and we all do. When that first one leaves the nest, you're like, oh, there it is on the horizon. Uh-oh.
Right.
And so I saw it coming, and I knew I wanted to do something that was meaningful and had worth. Like you, Deanna, you were making a difference in the lives of these women that you were teaching in Pure Barre, and I knew I wanted to make a difference. I just had to figure it out. So I had to go through the process, and I just decided along the way to start a blog. Back then, you know, we were all blogging, and it wasn't as much social media. I'm still blogging, and I went on and wrote a book too, but a lot of that, I think, was just me saying, come with me. I'll just share my journey. I'll be the guinea pig. You can just watch me. And it started like that. I mean, I would share a recipe about like cooking for 2 as opposed to cooking for 5. And here's how I downsize this recipe. And people would be like, that's great. Where are those earrings from?
I love that.
So
I love that.
That's kind of how the you know, influencer content creation part started.
Right.
I was not looking necessarily to monetize at the beginning. I just wanted to really be a help and a blessing to people, and that hasn't changed.
Right. I love that. And so tell me about this book that you wrote. I mean, first of all, undertaking writing a book, I can't even imagine. That had to be quite the process, right?
You know, it had been on my heart for a while. I felt like the Lord was like, you should write a book, you should write a book. And I was like, no, that sounds horrible. That sounds like too much work. And so, I don't know, all of a sudden I had this idea to do it in a format that felt doable for me and bite-sized. So that's why it's more of an interactive guide. Almost if you do like a devotional in the morning, if you do a Bible devotional or something, it's a little bit like that format. It is not a devotional, although there is scripture in it, and I'm a faith-based person and woman, but that's why I divided up into the 60 days. So in essence, they were short, bite-sized chunks with an actionable step after them. And then interspersed within them, I've got helpful lists of 50. I've got 4 lists of 50. And they're things like 50 traits you can encourage in your adult kids. And I give you these actual things that you say, like, my goodness, like my daughter will be telling me something and I'll say, you are such a good friend. Do you realize what a good friend you are? And so I've just encouraged her, and it's just in conversation. Or 50 conversation starters with your adult kids. And those are things you can actually say that can really help you get a conversation started. So I tried to do it that way, and it seemed more like blogging, I guess, to me in that way. So it seemed a little bit more doable to do it in bite-sized chunks. Yeah.
So, and I love that because it's more actionable. So somebody, you know how sometimes you read a book and you're like, this is a great idea. And you're like, you love it as you're reading, and then you walk away and you do nothing. So you're getting like, people to take action in bite-sized pieces, which is something I always advocate for. If we're going to do anything, back to last week, I just did a podcast on motivation, and I said, you know, a lot of times we don't have motivation to do anything, right? It's motivation is that action step, not a feeling. And so I love that the way you have structured this book is that you can read a little bit and then take the action and then put it into practice.
I find a lot of empty nesters are just overwhelmed. And so I really wanted to address that in the structure of the book. They're overwhelmed. The kid leaves and they're like, their identity, they don't know who they are. They've got this list of things that they're like, this is who I want to be now. This is how I want to be different. And then they're like, and what am I going to do with all my time? What's my purpose supposed to be like, you know, for the rest of my life? And it's sort of a come to, you know, acceptance of aging and where am I? Maybe there's that number like 50 that you're like, I don't feel that. What does that look like? How much, you know, gosh, I'm dealing with my aging mom. She's 80. That's 30 years left. Oh my gosh. You start panicking. So they can get overwhelmed. And so I want to address that for sure.
Yeah. So I love that. So let's give them some actionable steps today as they're listening so that they can do and have something to take away from that. Because that's the one thing that when I brought this podcast back, I wanted to keep my episodes fairly short and give actionable steps that you can take today that can make a change in your life. So let's start off. What would be number one thing to do?
Okay, number one thing, and I think, let me just say before we start, I think these actionable steps are great no matter where you are in the empty nest.
Yeah, I agree.
And maybe you're like, oh, I'm good on that one, you know, but check these 3, I'm going to give you 3, check these off on your list. And if you haven't done them, do them. And if you need to do them, it's not too late. It doesn't matter what your age or how long you've been an empty nester. And my book is not necessarily just for new empty nesters. And so that's okay. All right. So I would say the first one is figure out who you are. So when we're moms, that can become such a huge part of our identity. But you need to get in touch with who you were before you had kids. You were a woman before you were a mama. And you had skills and abilities and gifts from God and talents and things that people loved about you and things like that you can really need to get back in touch with those. And then you take all the things that you learned while you were a mom. You know, you became a counselor and a lunch packer and a chauffeur and, you know, all the things, a flower ranger or, you know, organizer for sure, all those things. And so you really have to put those together and figure out, well, who am I now? So there's a great fun exercise that you can do. And this one was a real light bulb moment for me. All of a sudden, I just had this idea, and I thought, well, this is kind of crazy. So what you do is, and again, start off by saying, this is a little weird, but just be brave. Text 10 people that you know well, or that know you well. This would probably include your kids, definitely your spouse or your best friend, maybe your parents, maybe not. Think of 10 people from different walks of life that you have who know you well. And text them. You can text them all the same thing. Just copy and paste. Tell them you're doing something weird.
I like that you preface it with that. And you said, I'm doing something weird and don't ask me questions. I love that part.
Because my kids would have been like, Mom, what is this? What are you doing?
Exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, so you just tell them, I'm doing something weird. Don't think too hard about this. But I just need you to get this text and respond to me as quickly as you can. Give me 3 words that describe me. Don't think too hard, just give them to me. And I was expecting words. This goes into how we see ourselves versus how others see you. I was thinking I'm going to get words like talks too much, bossy, opinionated, all these things. And instead, I got things like ambitious, driven, confident, enthusiastic, encouraging. And to see myself through the eyes of other people was tremendously helpful, Deanna. And I think if you think of yourself as we're all like a coin, and a coin has heads and tails. And so heads is maybe the positive side of a trait. I'm very directed, say. Well, the tails of that could be bossy. Because I'm directed, and some other people are like, I don't know. And I just go, well, this is clearly what we need to do. Let's just do this. and that's directed / bossy.
Right.
Weaknesses are just strengths taken to extremes. That's all they are.
Exactly.
So I tend to see myself and I go, oh, I'm so bossy. But really, other people might see that as directed and like, gosh, I wish I was more like that. So really helpful to do that exercise. It's a fun one. It'll encourage your heart.
It makes me really want to do it, but I would have to preface it with them with me telling them, don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions.
They would be like, especially my children, they'd be like, Mom, that is so dumb. I have boys. So they like, that is so dumb. I don't know what you're doing.
My boys really surprised me, and I was really touched by what they said. Really surprised me, because I was just asking for words, and their words weren't like loving and kind. Their words were more boyish words, but they were great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I love that.
So anyway, so that's the first one, is really figure out who you are. Take who you were before you had kids. Take the things you learned while you were a mama. Take that information based on how others see you. Look, if you are a faith person, go look in the Bible. Who does God say you are? God says you're loved. God says he exalts over you. God says he died for you. He died for your sins. You are much, much loved. And so do a little Bible study about who does God say I am, and add all that to the mix. Put it in a pot and stir it up. Figure out who you are aside from just that identity as mom. So that's number one.
I love that.
Number 2. Are you ready for number 2?
Yes.
Number 2. You'll like this because you're a list maker and a go-getter.
Yes. I've got my list right here beside me.
Me too. Is figure out what you need to do to catch up. What have you been putting off? Are you behind on your mammograms? Do you need to go get a checkup? Do you need to go to the dentist? What's been bugging you? Do you have a tooth that kind of, when you chew on that side, it's kind of bothering you? Maybe go check that out. Do you what have you been putting off? It could be as simple as, I don't understand tech. I want to figure out how Instagram works, or I don't know half the stuff my iPhone can do, and I want to learn. I don't want to be one of those people that's always like calling my kids like, can you tell me how to do this? I want to be a person that knows. And so maybe go take a class at the Apple Store.
Right.
There's all kinds of things you can do. If you think, I felt personally like I had really neglected my elderly parents a little bit because I'd been focused on my kids. And so I thought, I need to really change that. And I'd also drifted in my relationship with my siblings. So I thought, I need to address that. Bob
Oh,
and I
wow.
decided that we wanted to do a better job of cultivating couples friendships. So we made an agreement that we would invite another couple out to eat and just get to know them and try to do, and they weren't people that we
yeah.
necessarily, our kids had grown up together. We just wanted to, so tell us about your kids. We'll tell you about ours. Now let's talk about who we four are, And so,
I love that because I do think our friendships change so much in this phase of life. And trying to create those new friendships is not easy. You have to work at it. So I love
so
that.
maybe
Suzy.
it's you need to invite another woman out to lunch, and I would do that too. I did that for a while too. And if you were here, I would invite you out to lunch.
Oh, well, thank you. And I
our
would
mutual
come.
friend, Kathy. And we would maybe invite Kathy too.
That's right.
Anyway, so figure out kind of what those things that you've maybe neglected, things that you're like, I need to do a better job of this. I don't know. It can be like, I got to get my car inspected. I'm putting it off.
One of the
Whatever it
things,
is, tackle that.
So one of the things that I noticed when I was coaching midlife women is, again, they were empty nesters. Some of them were empty nesters, and they had put so much into mothering, they had neglected their health. And, they looked in the mirror and they didn't even recognize themselves because they're always so busy taking care of their kids. So it could be that. It could be deciding, okay, I want to get on this health and wellness. It's time for me.
Very
and I
often
hear
it is
that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely true. And I would say, you and I both enjoy sharing fashion on Instagram too. I would say sometimes it's fashion. It's not knowing how to dress the midlife body, not knowing how to just still do the trends, but look what feels to them as age appropriate, or how to translate the trends for a 50-year-old body or something like that.
Right, yeah.
And just how to make that transition. So it can be fashion, it can be health, wellness. Sometimes they need to know they want to know how to cook better, and they just need to take a couple cooking classes.
Well, and that was
address
the other
those
thing you said about cooking, how cooking changes, right? When you become an empty nester, So,
it does. And so I think make that list of these are all the things that are kind of bugging me that I kind of know I need to do a better job at. And then set about one by one. If you need to get a personal trainer to help teach you the exercises that then later you could do on your own, then you need to do that. If you need to go to counseling, if your marriage is struggling, that's on the list. If if you personally have things you haven't dealt with, that's on the list. Go deal. And,
but I think that, again, that list could become overwhelming. So, when I was coaching, I felt like what I would always tell my clients when they, come up with so many different things, we internally know that one thing, there's one thing, if you did that one thing, it could change a lot of things. So, I would, instead of being overwhelmed with all the things, look through your list and come up with that one thing first and go very, tackle that and try not to tackle it all at once, because when you try, you'll quit.
But I'm big on that one actionable step. So if you feel like I don't know what's in style, call Nordstrom. You can get an appointment with a fashion stylist for free.
Yeah, there
Make
you
an
go.
appointment, plan on 2 or 3 hours. You're going to spend a little money probably, but you'll really learn. And you can do that at Anthropology too, places that you can do it at Talbot's.
And if you're in Birmingham, go to Gus Meyer. That's my husband's family owns that store, so go. We got to plug them. Gus Meyer. If you're in Birmingham or Nashville, go to Gus Meyer. Okay.
Yes, absolutely, for sure. So anyway, but I think taking that one actionable step, call somebody. And make that call, send that email just to do that step so you don't get overwhelmed. So, okay, third thing is, I would say, figuring out, and this can be a biggie, figuring out how you're going to spend that time. What's your purpose going to be in this last portion of your life? My husband is a CFO and a CPA, and he's very bottom line. And he looked at me and said, listen, we've got about a third of our life left. How are we going to make it count?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, thank you.
I love that.
But he's right. How do you figure out your purpose for this time of life? Do you want to go back to school? I have friends that have gone back to school. They've gotten their real estate licenses. One went back to medical school.
That's crazy to me.
And she was
I can't even imagine.
yeah. But I mean, you can write a book. You can start a career as a content creator. You can buy, Pure Barre Studio. You go, whatever.
I think that is one of the things that I learned. It's never too late. So many people at different ages come up. When I first opened when I first started teaching Pure Barre, I was in my 40s, and honestly, I thought I was too late. I thought I was too old, and I had some younger girls encourage me. So I have reinvented myself so much over the last 15 years. So I don't think it has to be one purpose. I think you just continue to evolve from there.
You do. And I think there's you can take that information that you gained in that first step where you figured out, oh yeah, I did used to really love and be good at these things. Then I got kind of sidetracked by this sacred calling of motherhood.
Exactly.
And so how do I get back to that? Gosh, I've always loved flower arranging and I've never had time. I could do that. Get a little part-time job working for a florist. You can figure out ways to do what you want to do. We are in an age and at a time when all we have to do is Google something. You can
so
ChatGPT.
But here's the thing, that I think that where people get sidetracked is they spend too much time researching all this, and they think they don't end up doing it because I don't know if they don't want to take the chance, or they don't. I can't understand. Maybe you can answer that question, Suzy. Like, what holds people back from going ahead and trying something? Because I think people get stuck.
Yeah, I agree. I think we love comfort in our society, especially in America. I think we are comfort lovers. Think about your car. You get in your car, you have a cushion soft seat. You get the air as your temperature. You can have a beautiful view. The lights coming in. It's just, I have a heated steering wheel now. It's ridiculous.
That's true.
So
right
we
now.
love comfort. And it can be more, you have to make a change, you have to have some level of discomfort with the situation you're in to take that step that feels difficult or challenging and make that change. So I think if you sit in your comfort zone, you will not grow. You will not change, but that's your choice if you choose to stay there.
Yeah.
But it's not, you're not going to be at peace and happy with yourself and really feel fulfilled, I don't think. So again, I think if you know that you're a person that tends to get mired in that research and is falling short at taking that action step, if you know you're that person, which again, if you've done the first step and you're figuring out things about yourself, just be honest. If that's you, then you need to get help, whether it's a coach, a counselor, a trainer, whatever. Read my book, something, get help and figure out how to take those actionable steps, because you saw it with your Pure Barre. When people would come 1 week, it would be really hard, and they'd probably come back and go, I was so sore last week, it was horrible. And you'd be like, just keep going. And by week 2 or 3, they were like, I'm getting stronger. I'm so excited. I'm getting stronger. I feel it. And then that motivation just kicks in.
Yeah.
So if you're
that's the thing. You got to take the action, right? And then the motivation will follow. It may take a little bit of time, but it will come. So I love that, Suzy. I love those steps too. So let's go back over those steps really quick for everybody.
Okay. First is figure out who you are aside from being a mom. It's precious. It's a sacred calling. Like I said, it's joy. It's a privilege. But figure out who you are aside from mom. Who are you? Who were you? And who are you now? Secondly, tackle the things that you know you neglected and that you need to give attention to. Your health is probably one of them. Wellness, fitness, nutrition, those medical appointments, things like that. Relationships that need attention. Focus on those. So tackle some of those things on your to-do list that will make you feel like really proud of yourself. Like, I know I needed to do that and I finally did. I'm so proud of myself. And then thirdly, try to figure out what your purpose is. for this part of life. And it won't just be one thing, it can be multiple things. But what do you want to do to fulfill you, to help and serve and bless others? And we're so blessed when we can bless others. Maybe it's to volunteer. I have a friend who her purpose was they built their family's lake house and she acted like the contractor. So they built a second home. Okay. And then I have another friend who just wanted to volunteer and she got a job volunteering at the Arboretum because she loved flowers and gardening and she loved doing that. So, I mean, what is your purpose going to be? And figure that out. Get help if you need to make it happen.
I love that. I think that's amazing. And I love that you said, you started this off by saying, you know, it's not just at that very beginning of becoming an empty nest. It could, I mean, because you and I are 10 years into being empty nesters, and it's constantly, it's a different chapter of being an empty nester at this point. Now it's, you know, we've got married children and grandchildren and trying to figure that part out of it too.
It's a dynamic stage, right? It keeps changing. It's not a destination. It's not like, oh, you reached the empty nest. It's a transitional stage, and then it turns into really just life as an empty nester. And and that is changing all the time. As kids marry, as you become a grandparent, maybe as you downsize, all the things.
That's a whole nother podcast. Downsizing.
I'll come back.
Exactly. But, well, Suzy, thank you so much for joining me today and talking about all this. Tell everybody, share with everybody where they can find your book, where they can find you, what's the best way to connect with you.
Oh, thank you. Probably the best way to connect with me, what we could call my home, would be emptynestblessed.com. And then I'm on most of the social medias as @emptynestblessed. So I'm just embarrassingly easy to find.
That's the best way to be.
And look, the name of my book, Empty Nest Blessed.
So easy.
You would think that I'm not very creative, but it's called SEO.
Yeah.
It's just, there's a reason.
Actually,
so I am very easy to find. Empty Nest Blessed.
Great.
You can Google me and you'll find me.
That's awesome.
Yes, and you can buy my book on Amazon and also through my website, emptynestblessed.com/book.
Great. Well, thank you again so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I love this conversation, and I know that everybody who's listening, you guys, if you hear this, put those action steps into action and share with us and let us know how it goes. If you love this episode and you want to share it with somebody, please do. We always love it when you share. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for being here, friend. Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode, and keep choosing what makes you feel well and worthy.